Rewritten and optimized script, ultimate 9,000 plus word version. Title: The Unfading Soul. A masterclass on the 6 signs of timeless beauty. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt a flicker of doubt? A quiet whisper asking if the woman you once were has faded with the passing years. In a world relentlessly obsessed with the fleeting bloom of youth, it is an easy trap to fall into the belief that beauty is something you lose. But let me tell you a profound and liberating truth. 1. That society often forgets. True, resonant beauty does not diminish with age. It ripens, it deepens. It becomes a powerful, magnetic force forged in the fires of a life fully lived. If you are ready to embrace your most radiant and authentic self, then this is not just another video for you. This is a masterclass. We are about to embark on a deep dive into the 6 undeniable signs that prove you are more stunning, more captivating, and more beautiful now than ever before. These are not about defying age, but about celebrating the incredible power that only comes with it. This journey will fundamentally change the way you see yourself, and I promise, it's a perspective you have earned, and one you deserve to own. Chapter 1. The magnetism of authenticity and confidence, the philosophical foundation. Let's begin with the very foundation of all timeless beauty, the bedrock upon which every other quality is built: confidence. This is not the loud, arrogant, look at me confidence that the world often mistakes for strength. That is ego, and ego is fragile, always needing external validation to survive. True confidence, the kind that becomes more potent with age, is a quiet, unshakable ownership of who you are. It is the deep, internal peace that comes from no longer needing the world's applause to know your worth. It is the result of a lifetime of experiences, your triumphs, your failures, your lessons learned, that have shaped you into the incredible woman you are today. This confidence is not something you project, it is something you radiate. It is the silent, powerful energy that enters a room before you do, an aura of self-possession that others can't help but be drawn to. It is the beauty of a soul that is finally, fully at home with itself. This state is achieved through authenticity. As we navigate our younger years, we often wear masks, playing roles we think we are supposed to play to gain acceptance, love, or success. We conform, we compromise, we silence our true selves. But with age comes a profound gift, the liberation of letting go. We let go of the need to please everyone. We let go of the fear of being judged. We let go of the exhausting pretense. In its place, authenticity blossoms. You begin to live your life on your own terms, embracing your quirks, your opinions, and your unique story without apology. This raw, unapologetic authenticity is mesmerizing. It is a form of beauty that is not fleeting or superficial, but lasting and real, born from an inner peace and strength that others instinctively notice and admire. The psychological deep dive. From a psychological perspective, the confidence of a mature woman is often a sign of reaching what Abraham Maslow called self. This is the highest level of psychological development, where an individual is no longer driven by deficiencies, the need for safety, belonging, or esteem from others, but by a desire for growth and fulfillment. Your confidence is no longer dependent on external factors. It has become an internal state of being. This is linked to the psychological concept of an internal locus of control. A person with an external locus of control believes their life is dictated by outside forces, fate, other people's decisions. They feel like a victim of circumstance. But a person with a strong internal locus of control believes they are the author of their own life. They take responsibility for their choices and believe in their ability to navigate challenges. But life experiences you have gathered have forged this internal locus. You have weathered storms, overcome obstacles, and survived hardships. This history provides empirical proof of your own resilience, building a deep-seated confidence that is not based on wishful thinking, but on a lifetime of evidence. Your authenticity, in turn, creates a state of congruence, a psychological term for when your inner self and your outward expression are in perfect alignment. There is no longer a stressful gap between who you are and who you pretend to be. This congruence is incredibly attractive because it is a sign of emotional and mental health. People feel safe and at ease around you because they sense they are interacting with someone real. There is no hidden agenda, no performance. This creates a magnetic aura, an invisible pull that makes people want to be in your presence, to listen to what you have to say, and to bask in the warmth of your genuine energy. The narrative illustration, the story of Eleanor. Consider the story of Eleanor, a woman who, at 68, felt she had become invisible. For years, she had been a devoted wife, a nurturing mother, and a reliable employee. Her identity was wrapped up in the roles she played for others. After her husband passed away, and she retired, she found herself adrift. At social gatherings, she would stand at the edge of the room, speaking only when spoken to, her opinions soft and agreeable. She dressed in muted colors, as if to blend into the wallpaper. She believed her time for being seen and heard was over. Day, her granddaughter, a spirited young artist, asked her grandma, "What did you want to be when you were my age?" The question startled Eleanor. She hadn't thought about her own dreams in decades. She confessed, with a small, sad smile, that she had always wanted to be a botanist, but had given it up to raise her family. That conversation planted a seed. The following week, Eleanor did something she hadn't done in 50 years. She did something just for herself. She signed up for a master gardener course at the local community college. At first, she was terrified. She was the oldest person in the class by far, but as she began to learn about soil composition, Latin plant names, and propagation techniques, something inside her awakened. The passion she had suppressed for so long began to bloom. She started speaking up in class, her voice, once hesitant, now filled with knowledge and enthusiasm. She began to dress differently, wearing a vibrant blue scarf her granddaughter had given her a splash of color in her once beige world. A few months later, at a family party, a transformation had occurred. Eleanor wasn't hovering at the edge of the room. She was the center of a captivated group, passionately explaining the difference between perennials and annuals, her eyes sparkling with life. She stood tall, she laughed freely, and she spoke with the quiet authority of someone who had rediscovered their own worth. Her children watched her, not with the gentle pity they once had, but with a newfound respect and admiration. Eleanor hadn't changed her face or her body, but she had changed her energy. She had stopped waiting to be seen and had become someone impossible to overlook. She had found her confidence because she had reclaimed her authentic self. The toolkit, how to cultivate confidence. True confidence is a skill that can be cultivated at any age. Practice power posing before you leave the house. Stand in front of a mirror in a power pose for 2 minutes. Stand tall with your feet apart, hands on your hips, and your chin lifted. Social psychologist Amy Cuddy's research has shown that this simple act can increase feelings of confidence and decrease feelings of anxiety by changing your body's chemistry. Your I am statements. For 1 week, pay close attention to the way you talk about yourself, both internally and externally. Do you say, "I'm just so clumsy," or "I'm not very good at this"? These are declarations. Replace them with empowering truths. I am learning. I am capable. I am resilient. Embrace a new skill. Just like Eleanor, sign up for a class or start a new hobby that you have always been curious about. The act of learning and improving at something new is a powerful confidence builder. It proves to your brain that you are still growing and capable. Create a triumph file. Take some time to write down every single challenge you have overcome in your life, big and small, from raising children to navigating a difficult career to surviving loss. Keep this list and read it whenever you feel your confidence wavering. It is your personal, undeniable evidence of your own strength. Serve others. Paradoxically, one of the best ways to build self-confidence is to get the focus off yourself. Volunteer your time or mentor someone younger. When you use your life experience to help others, you are reminded of your own value and wisdom, which naturally builds a deep and lasting confidence. The spiritual connection, ultimately, the most profound confidence comes from understanding your place in the grander scheme of things. It is the assurance that comes from knowing you are a cherished creation, walking in a purpose designed specifically for you. It is a quiet power that is not dependent on your own abilities, but on the limitless strength of the one who holds you in the palm of his hand. This is the confidence that truly radiates, drawing others not just to you, but to the source of the light within you. Chapter 2, the radiance of joy, your smile and your humor, the philosophical foundation in a world that often seems heavy with seriousness, conflict, and sorrow. A woman who carries the light of joy is one of the most beautiful sights to behold. This radiance is expressed most powerfully through 2 interconnected gifts: a genuine, heartfelt smile and a well-honed sense of humor. A smile is the universal language of kindness, an instant bridge between human embodiment of a life filled with positive emotion. They are, quite literally, a map of your joy. They are a testament to every moment you have shared a hearty laugh, every time you have smiled with genuine affection. From a psychological standpoint, these lines signal to others that you are a person who has experienced and expressed happiness, making you more magnetic and appealing. A sense of humor is also a sign of high cognitive function. To understand a joke, to deliver a witty remark, or to see the absurdity in a situation requires mental flexibility, creativity, and the ability to see things from multiple perspectives. Furthermore, the ability to laugh at oneself is a hallmark of a healthy ego and high self-esteem. It demonstrates that you are not so fragile that you cannot embrace your own imperfections with grace and lightness. This quality is incredibly charming and makes others feel instantly at ease in your presence. The narrative illustration, the story of Clara at 72, was known for one thing above all else, her laugh. It was a full, unrestrained, joyful sound that seemed to bubble up from the depths of her soul. Clara had not had an easy life. She had buried a husband, navigated financial hardship, and dealt with her share of health scares. But she had made a conscious decision decades ago to not let life's sorrows extinguish her joy, that her grandchildren adored spending time with her, not just because she spoiled them with cookies, but because her home was always filled with laughter. She had a sharp wit and a playful spirit. If she spilled something in the kitchen, she wouldn't sigh in frustration. She'd strike a dramatic pose and declare, "And the artist makes her mark." If she forgot a name, she'd pat her head and say, "Don't worry, the files are in there somewhere. They're just being reorganized." She laughed at her own foibles, and in doing so, she gave everyone around her permission to be imperfect too. Her smile was her signature. It was a genuine, warm expression that reached her eyes, crinkling the beautiful lines at their corners. People were drawn to her. At the grocery store, the checkout clerks would brighten when she approached. In her community garden, others would gravitate toward her plot, knowing a conversation with Clara would leave them feeling lighter. She wasn't a comedian, but she understood the power of humor and joy as a connective force. One of her neighbors once told her, "Clara, I don't know how you do it. You've been through so much, yet you're the most joyful person I know." Clara simply smiled and said, "Darling, the tears taught me the value of the laughter." Her radiance didn't come from a life devoid of pain, but from her courageous choice to embrace joy in the midst of it. The masterclass toolkit, how to cultivate joy. Joy is a choice and a practice. Start your day with a smile before you even get out of bed. Before you check your phone, force yourself to smile for 30 seconds. Even a fake smile can trick your brain into releasing feel-good chemicals and set a positive tone for your day. Keep a humor journal. Every evening, write down one funny thing that happened, one witty remark you heard, or one silly thought you had. This trains your brain to look for and appreciate the humor in daily life. Laugh at yourself the next time you make a small, harmless mistake like misplacing your keys. Instead of getting frustrated, try to laugh at it. Say something out loud like, "Well, that was a brilliant move." This practice breaks the cycle of self-criticism and builds resilience. Consume positive comedy. Make a conscious effort to watch funny movies, stand-up specials, or classic sitcoms that make you genuinely laugh out loud. Laughter is a form of exercise for the soul. Practice gratitude for laughter. When you share a good laugh with someone, take a moment afterward to silently thank the universe for that moment of connection and joy. This reinforces its value in your life. The spiritual connection. The Bible tells us that a cheerful heart is good medicine. Joy is not just a pleasant emotion. It is a spiritual discipline and a powerful form of witness. It is a declaration of faith that, despite the trials of this world, our hope is anchored in something greater. A woman who radiates joy, who laughs freely, and who smiles with genuine warmth is reflecting the very heart of a God, who promises a joy that is unspeakable and full of glory. Chapter 3. Timeless Personal Style. The Art of Self-Expression. Philosophical foundation. The old adage, age is just a number, holds particularly true when it comes to the realm of personal style. As a woman matures, she often develops a deeper, more intuitive understanding of what truly suits her, moving far beyond the fleeting and often unforgiving world of fashion trends. This phase of life allows for the purest and most authentic expression of individuality. The frantic chase for what's in is replaced by a confident and artful curation of what's me. This is not about becoming dowdy or invisible. It is the exact opposite. It is about an effortless elegance that comes from no longer dressing to impress others, but to express oneself. This effortless style is a form of storytelling. Each piece of clothing, each accessory, each choice of color or texture becomes a word in the narrative of who you are. A classic, well-cut blazer might speak of your professionalism and strength. A vibrant, colorful silk scarf might whisper of your travels and your artistic soul. A simple, elegant string of pearls might reflect your love for tradition and timeless Grace. Your style becomes a reflection of the life you have lived and the confidence you now carry. When you step out wearing something that feels authentically you, you radiate a power and an allure that is truly timeless. The psychological deep dive, the psychology behind developing a strong personal style in later life is fascinating. It is often linked to a solidified sense of identity. In our youth, we often use fashion as a tool for exploration and social conformity. We try on different personas, dressing like our peers or like the celebrities we admire, in an attempt to figure out where we belong. This is a normal and healthy part of development. However, as we mature, a well-adjusted individual integrates these explorations into a cohesive sense of self. We are no longer searching, we know who we are. This psychological security allows for a new freedom in self-expression. We are no longer constrained by the fear of judgment. This is why the style of many older women feels so effortless. It is because the effort is no longer directed at pleasing others, but at pleasing oneself. This congruence between one's inner self and outward appearance is a sign of high self-esteem and emotional maturity. Furthermore, with age comes the wisdom to prioritize both comfort and beauty, something often overlooked in youth when we might tolerate painful shoes or restrictive clothing for the sake of a trend. The mature woman understands that true elegance is impossible without comfort. You cannot look truly graceful if you are wincing in pain. This practical wisdom, the ability to find pieces that are both beautiful and functional, is a form of intelligence that is deeply attractive. Accessories also play a pivotal psychological role. They become tools of individualization. A statement necklace, a pair of unique earrings, or a bold shade of lipstick can transform a simple ensemble, showcasing that style is not bound by age. These choices are often deeply personal, perhaps a piece of jewelry inherited from a mother or a scarf picked up on a memorable trip. They are not just adornments, they are touchstones of memory and identity. Your hair becomes another powerful chapter in this story of self-expression. It is not just about a cut or color, but what it says about how you embrace your journey. For many, choosing to embrace natural gray is a bold and beautiful statement of self-acceptance. It symbolizes confidence, strength, and a rich history of experiences. It is a rejection of the world's anti-aging narrative. Alternatively, a chic, shorter haircut can speak to a woman's practicality and decisiveness. A longer style might reflect a creative, free spirit. The beauty lies not in the specific style, but in the ownership of it. The narrative illustration, the story of Isabel had spent her entire professional life as a corporate lawyer, living in a uniform of charcoal gray and navy blue suits. Her style was impeccable but impersonal, designed to project an image of serious competence. Even her hair was always pulled back in a severe, nonsense bun. When she retired at 70, she found herself at a loss. Her closet was a sea of gray, and she felt like a ghost in her own life. One afternoon, while cleaning out her attic, she stumbled upon a trunk filled with her clothes from the 1960s. She pulled out a vibrant, bohemian-style dress in shades of turquoise and coral, a relic from a trip to Greece she had taken in her 20s. She remembered the woman who had worn that dress, a woman who was adventurous, free-spirited, and unafraid of color. On a whim, Isabel put the dress on. It was a bit snug, but as she looked in the dusty attic mirror, she saw a flicker of that long-lost woman. That moment was an awakening. Isabel realized she had spent decades dressing for a role, not for herself. The next day, she went to a local boutique and bought a single, brightly colored silk scarf. She started small, wearing it with her old suits, a splash of rebellion, against a lifetime of conformity. Then, she got a new haircut, a soft, layered bob that framed her face and highlighted her silver hair. She started visiting thrift stores and consignment shops, not looking for trends, but for unique pieces that made her heart sing. A vintage brooch, a pair of red shoes, a hand-painted jacket. Her transformation was remarkable. The power of the third piece. A simple outfit of a top and bottom can be instantly elevated by a third piece. This could be a blazer, a cardigan, a vest, a beautiful scarf, or a statement necklace. Mastering the third piece is the key to looking polished and intentional. Invest in quality, not quantity, as you age. It is better to have a smaller wardrobe of high-quality, well-fitting pieces than a closet full of cheap, trendy clothes. Focus on beautiful fabrics like silk, cashmere, and high-quality cotton, and invest in a good tailor to make sure your clothes fit you perfectly. The spiritual connection, your personal style, when it is an authentic expression of your inner self, becomes a form of worship. It is a way of celebrating the unique and beautiful person that God created you to be. It is a declaration to the world that you are not ashamed of your journey. You are not hiding your light, and you are embracing every season of your life with confidence and grace. It is a visual testament to a soul that is free. Chapter 4. The Beauty of a Life. Lived your skin and your eyes. The philosophical foundation in a society that often praises a flawless, unlined, and youthful skin as the ultimate ideal. It is an act of profound wisdom and rebellion to reconsider what truly matters. The world tells us to erase our history, to smooth over our experiences, to present a blank slate. But let me ask you this: would you truly want to erase the story of your life? Every single line, every freckle, and every spot on your skin is a chapter in the unique and precious narrative of who you are. These marks are not blemishes to be hidden. They are badges of honor that have been earned. They are reflections of the laughter you have shared with dear friends, the tears you have shed during hard but necessary times, the sun-kissed moments you have spent outdoors in the glory of creation, and the late-night conversations that have deepened your most important relationships. These markings, whether from the sun or from life's rich experiences, tell the story of your resilience, your growth, and the wisdom you have gained through every challenge and every triumph. Isn't that infinitely more beautiful than a smooth, blank surface that has no history to speak of? Your skin, with all its character, is a living testament to your adventures and the lessons you have learned. Those fine lines and textures, far from being imperfections, are the marks of a life that has been truly and deeply lived. The psychological deep dive. The modern obsession with anti-aging can have a detrimental psychological effect, creating a state of what is known as normative discontent. This means it has become normal in our culture to be dissatisfied with our aging appearance. This can lead to a host of negative psychological outcomes, including lower self-esteem, increased anxiety, and even body dysmorphic tendencies. Choosing to embrace your story, as written on your skin, is a powerful act of psychological resistance. It is a move toward self-acceptance and unconditional self-regard, which are cornerstones of mental health. When you reframe your lines not as wrinkles, but as laugh lines or wisdom lines, you are performing a powerful cognitive behavioral technique. You are changing the narrative you tell yourself, which in turn changes your emotional response. This is not about letting yourself go. It is about letting go of an unrealistic and harmful ideal. Don't know where is the story of a life lived more captivating than in a person's eyes. It is often said that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and there is nothing more magnetic than eyes that have truly seen the world. From a psychological perspective, as we age, our eyes become more adept at communicating complex, nonverbal cues. They have witnessed decades of human experience, and they can convey compassion, understanding, and a quiet strength that younger, less experienced eyes cannot. People are often drawn to the gaze of an older woman because they subconsciously sense a depth of wisdom and empathy there. It's not about the color or the shape of your eyes. It is about the profound emotion and life they convey. When you meet someone's gaze, each glance is filled with the meaning of your entire life's narrative. This creates a powerful, authentic connection that is deeply alluring. The narrative illustration. The story of Maria, a grandmother from New Mexico, had spent most of her life working outdoors on her family's small farm. Her face was a beautiful canvas of her history. Her skin was tanned from a lifetime of sun, and her eyes were framed by a network of fine lines that deepened when she smiled. In her younger years, she had been self-conscious about her weather-beaten look, especially when she compared herself to the smooth-skinned models in magazines. One summer, her 16-year-old granddaughter, Sophia, who was an aspiring photographer, came to visit. Sophia was fascinated by Maria's face. "Grandma," she said one afternoon, her camera in hand, "can I take your portrait? Your face is just so ... interesting." Maria was taken aback. "Interesting, Sophia, my face is just old and wrinkled." Sophia shook her head. "No, Grandma, it's beautiful. This line here," she said, gently tracing a line near Maria's eye. "This is from all the years you laughed with Grandpa. And these spots here, they're from all the sunny days you spent in the garden growing our food. Your face isn't empty. It's full of stories." Sophia spent the afternoon taking photos of Maria, not asking her to pose, but just capturing her as she worked in her garden and told stories of her life. When Maria saw the photos, she wept. For the first time, she did not see flaws. She saw the evidence of a life of love, of hardship, and of resilience. She saw the strength in the lines around her eyes, the history in the spots on her hands. Sophia's loving perspective had allowed Maria to see herself not through the world's critical lens, but through the lens of her own rich history. From that day on, Maria carried herself differently. She no longer tried to hide her face or her hands. She had embraced her story, and in doing so, had discovered a new and profound form of beauty, the Masterclass Toolkit. How to embrace your story. Practice loving kindness, meditation. Sit quietly for a few minutes each day. Place a hand over your heart and repeat phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I accept myself just as I am." This practice, rooted in Buddhist tradition and supported by modern psychology, can increase feelings of self-compassion. Story of my scars journaling. Take a physical feature that you have often seen as a flaw, a scar, a line, a spot. Write down the real story behind it. The scar on your knee from learning to ride a bike. The stretch marks from carrying your children. Reframe these not as imperfections, but as monuments to your life experiences. A new mirror affirmation. The next time you look in the mirror, instead of focusing on what you want to change, look yourself directly in the eye and say, "I am grateful for this body that has carried me through so much. I am proud of this face that tells the story of my life." Curate your media. Unfollow social media accounts that promote unrealistic beauty standards and leave you feeling less than. Instead, follow accounts that celebrate women of all ages, shapes, and sizes. What you feed your mind will shape how you see yourself. Care for your skin as an act of love, not war. Taking care of your skin is still important. It deserves hydration, protection from the sun, and nourishment to keep it healthy. But shift your mindset. You are not fighting wrinkles. You are lovingly tending to the beautiful canvas of your life. Use a good sunscreen and a quality moisturizer, not out of fear, but out of respect for the body that has served you so well. The spiritual connection. When you embrace your physical story, you are making a powerful spiritual statement. You are declaring that you trust the wisdom of your Creator who fearfully and wonderfully made you. You are rejecting the world's lie that your value decreases with age and are instead embracing the heavenly truth that your soul and the story it tells becomes more beautiful and more valuable with each passing year. It is the real, lived-in beauty that radiates from within and brings glory to the one who wrote your story. Chapter 5. The Glow of Kindness. Your warmth and impact. The philosophical foundation. You may not even realize it, but your warmth, kindness and compassion that you radiate is one of the most captivating and magnetic qualities you possess. It is a profound beauty that has nothing to do with physical appearance, and yet it can change the atmosphere of a room and leave a lasting impression on every person you meet. It is an energy that draws people to you, almost without them knowing why. This is not the fleeting charm of wit or the superficial appeal of flattery. It is the deep, resonant beauty of a soul that has learned to love well. This warmth is often expressed through your innate ability to inspire and uplift others, whether it's encouraging someone to pursue a long-lost dream, offering a thoughtful and kind word that brightens a dark day, or simply being present to listen with empathy when someone needs to talk. You have a unique way of making people feel valued and supported. Your presence has a profound impact on those you encounter. This is a beauty that goes much deeper than any outward appearance. It is the kind of beauty that touches hearts, changes lives, and leaves a legacy of grace. The psychological deep dive. The psychological impact of warmth and kindness is well documented. When we interact with someone who is genuinely warm and empathetic, it triggers the release of oxytocin in our brains. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone or the love hormone. It reduces fear and anxiety, increases feelings. Talked to her, she gave them her full, undivided attention. She didn't interrupt, she didn't offer unsolicited advice, and she didn't turn the conversation back to herself. She simply listened with a deep and palpable empathy. Her neighbor, a young mother named Emily, was going through a difficult divorce and often felt overwhelmed and alone. Several times a week, Emily would see Sarah attending her small garden and would stop to chat. She would pour out her frustrations, her fears, and her sorrows. Sarah would just listen, nodding, her eyes filled with a gentle compassion. Sometimes, she would offer a simple, kind word that sounds incredibly hard, or "You are so strong for getting through this." Years later, Emily, now a confident and successful single mother, told Sarah something that brought tears to her eyes. "Sarah," she said, "I don't know if I would have made it through those first few years without you. You probably don't even remember our conversations, but your kindness was my lifeline. You never judged me, you just made me feel seen. You made me feel like I wasn't a failure. You inspired me to believe I could be a good mother on my own." Sarah was stunned. She had only offered a listening ear. She hadn't done anything grand, but her consistent, quiet acts of kindness had been a powerful force for healing and inspiration in Emily's life. This is the profound beauty of warmth. It is not about doing great things, but about doing small things with great love. The Masterclass Toolkit, How to Cultivate Your Glow of Kindness, the practice of active listening. The next time you are in a conversation, make a conscious effort to listen more than you speak. Don't think about what you are going to say next. Just focus completely on the other person. Ask open-ended questions like, how did that make you feel? Or what was that like for you? The one kind word, mission, each day. Make it your mission to offer at least one sincere and specific compliment to someone, whether it's a family member, a friend, or a stranger. That color looks beautiful on you. Or I really admire the way you handled that difficult situation. Write a gratitude letter. Think of someone who has had a positive impact on your life. Write them a letter detailing exactly why you are grateful. For them, the act of expressing gratitude not only blesses the receiver but also fills the giver with joy. Perform anonymous acts of kindness. Pay for the coffee of the person behind you in line. Leave a generous tip for a server. Do something kind without any possibility of receiving credit for it. This purifies your motives and cultivates a truly generous spirit. The empathy prayer. When you encounter someone who is difficult or frustrating, take a moment to silently pray for them. Ask that they be blessed with peace and happiness. This practice, while difficult, can radically transform your heart, replacing judgment with compassion. The spiritual connection. The Bible tells us that the greatest commandment is to love God and to love our neighbor. Your warmth, your kindness, and your ability to inspire others are the most beautiful and tangible expressions of this commandment. It is a beauty that touches hearts, changes lives, and creates a ripple effect of grace that extends far beyond what you can see. It is the light of Christ shining through you, and there is nothing more captivating than that. Chapter 6. The grace of receiving, accepting. Your worth, a philosophical foundation. Let's take a moment for some honest reflection. How often have you been on the receiving end of a sincere compliment? You look stunning today, or that was a brilliant idea, or I so admire your strength, only to immediately dismiss it, deflect it, or downplay it. Oh, this old thing, it was nothing really. I just got lucky. It is a common, almost reflexive habit for many women, often born from a desire to appear humble, but it is time to change that pattern. The ability to graciously receive a compliment is not an act of vanity or ego. It is a powerful sign of a woman who knows her own worth and is living in a state of grace. When you deflect a compliment, you are, on a subtle level, doing several things. You are invalidating the sincere observation of the person who gave it. You are rejecting a gift of kindness that was offered to you. And most importantly, you are reinforcing a negative belief within yourself that you are not worthy of praise. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. And a person who is truly humble and secure does not need to perform humility by deflecting praise. They can simply and gracefully receive it. The psychological deep dive. The inability to accept compliments is often rooted in what psychologists call imposter syndrome or low self-esteem. A person with low self-esteem has a core belief that they are not good enough. When someone offers them praise that contradicts this negative core belief, it creates a feeling of cognitive dissonance and mental discomfort. To resolve this discomfort, they reject the compliment, thus reaffirming their negative self-view. They only said that to be nice. They might think, they don't see the real, flawed me. Breaking this cycle requires a conscious effort to challenge and change that negative core belief. Accepting a compliment graciously is a powerful act of cognitive restructuring. When you simply say, thank you, you are allowing the positive information to enter your psyche. You are telling your brain, this might be true. I am worthy of this praise. Over time, as you consistently practice this, you can begin to rewire those old negative neural pathways and build a healthier, more accurate self-concept. Furthermore, from an interpersonal perspective, deflecting compliments can be socially awkward. It can make the person who offered the compliment feel dismissed or foolish. By accepting it with a simple, warm thank you, you are not only honoring yourself, but you are also honoring them. You are acknowledging their kindness and validating their perception. It is an act of social grace that makes interactions smoother and more positive for everyone involved. The narrative illustration. The story of Helen. Helen was a brilliant cook and a generous hostess, famous for her elaborate dinner parties. But she was utterly incapable of accepting a compliment when a guest would rave, Helen, this is the most delicious roast chicken I have ever tasted. She would immediately deflect, "Oh, it's nothing," she'd say. "The oven was running a bit hot and I think it's a little dry, actually." When a friend would say, "Your home is so beautiful," she would respond, "You should see all the dust. I haven't had time to clean properly." Her friends found it frustrating. They wanted to express their genuine admiration, but Helen would never let them. One evening, her closest friend, Martha, took her aside. "Helen," she said gently, "why can't you just say thank you?" Helen was taken aback. "I don't want people to think I'm arrogant," she replied. Martha smiled. "My dear, there is nothing arrogant about accepting a truth. The chicken is delicious. Your home is beautiful. When you deny our compliments, you're not being humble. You're telling us our judgment is wrong. Just let us love you, let us admire you." Helen thought about that conversation for a long time. She realized her deflections were not coming from a place of humility, but from a deep-seated feeling of not being good enough. She decided to try a new approach. The next time someone complimented her cooking, she paused, took a breath, looked them in the eye, and said, with a warm smile, "Thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying it." It felt strange at first, almost foreign, but it also felt incredibly empowering. By beginning to accept the beauty that others so clearly saw in her, she slowly began to see it in herself. The Masterclass Toolkit, the art of graceful receiving the simple thank you. This is the foundation. Resist the urge to add a but or a disclaimer. Just a warm, genuine thank you is the most graceful response. The add a detail technique. If a simple thank you feels too abrupt, you can add a small positive detail. If someone says, "I love your scarf," you can reply, "Thank you. It was a gift from my daughter," or "Thank you. I found it at a wonderful little shop on my last trip." This accepts the compliment while sharing a small piece of yourself. The return. The compliment technique used sparingly. If appropriate, you can return a compliment. "Thank you so much. That's so kind of you to say, especially coming from you. I've always admired your sense of style." Use this cautiously, as overusing it can seem like deflection. Practice in the mirror. This may feel silly, but it works. Look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself a compliment. "You handled that situation with such grace today." Then, say out loud, "Thank you." Practice receiving praise from yourself. Acknowledge the giver's kindness. You can shift the focus slightly to the person giving the compliment. "Thank you. That's so kind of you to say," or "Thank you. I really appreciate you noticing." This accepts the compliment while also affirming the giver. The spiritual connection. When you graciously accept a compliment, you are acknowledging your own God-given worth. You are agreeing with the truth that you are a person of value, created with unique gifts and talents. It is an act of humility that recognizes that all good things ultimately come from a loving Creator. It is not about inflating your ego. It is about embracing the identity He has given you. By accepting compliments with grace, you are not only showing appreciation for the kindness of others, but you are also cultivating a healthier, more positive self-image, and beginning to see yourself in the same loving light that your Creator has always seen you. Conclusion. As we conclude,